welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hello, everybody.
And tonight we will be reviewing that Stephen King's classic,
Well, one of his classics.
The Dead Zone, that was released in 1983, as I recall.
1983, yeah. It's a science fiction thriller film. Actually, one of the reviewers said, it's not much for horror film, is it? They really haven't got a clue, have they?
It's
No.
not. Every single person out there keeps saying Stephen King does horror. He does not just do horror,
He has
people.
done horror. He has done thrillers. He's done coming-of-age movies.
He did drama.
He's done Shawshank Redemption, one of his ones.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, people out there. He's a
man of many talents.
He's a miscellaneous type writer.
A miscellaneous? Okay, what's that?
Is that the right word?
He's a man of many talents.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
He writes anything. Does not have to have
it feels good.
a
I'll
category.
Write it. There you go.
It's like if I had to write something one day, it wouldn't just be one category. It would be writing a slew of categories.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Right. This is produced by Deborah Hill. Directed by David Cronenberg. Screenplay was done by Jeffrey Boehm. We've already said this a bit. Based on The Dead Zone by Stephen King. Now, budget, 10 mil, only made 21 mil at the box office. Well, yeah. Again, it gets down to what was on at the time and, what the competition was in the theatres.
I certainly like the lead guy who's playing our lead character in this one.
Yeah, it's Christopher Walken plays the lead, Johnny Smith. What a great name.
Yeah, originally it was not going to.
Smith.
It originally wasn't going to be Johnny Smith, as I recall. The studios were thinking of changing it to suit their.
Fred Smith. There.
Yeah, well, they just thought maybe John Smith sounded too ordinary.
Johnny, whatever.
Anyway.
Okie dokie.
This is their problem.
Anyway, actually, I think Bill Murray was supposed to play that part, or
Yeah,
considered for the part as well.
Yeah.
I can't see Bill Murray playing
I close my eyes and try to picture him, and I don't.
Bill's a good actor, don't get me wrong, but I think he's more suited for comedy.
That's what I'm thinking.
This isn't a comedy.
I've seen him in Groundhog Day, Ghostbusters, and a number of other movies.
Was he in Spies Like Us? With Dan Aykroyd?
I don't know. I'm sorry, guys.
He's been in quite a few movies, yeah. He's a good actor. I like what he does, but yeah, he's more of a comic actor instead of a serious actor.
I can't picture it. But this is Stephen King's. He just thinks that he was would have been good for this movie.
Well, yeah, Stephen King just happened to like him. That's all. Yeah. Anyway, now
I guess whenever I write a character in my head, when I'm writing a script.
Oh, when you write it down on a piece of paper.
I know, but when I'm writing the character, I picture whom I'm casting in my head.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes I cast someone I know really well, or just someone Well,
you've got a composite image in your head.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now I'll run through the rest of the actors. Okay, we mentioned Christopher Walken playing Johnny Smith. He's the lead guy who has an accident and becomes. Well, psychic, I suppose.
I think is the best
whatever,
word.
Telepathic, whatever, or whatever. Yeah, whatever. Brooke Adams plays his girlfriend at the beginning of the movie. Her name plays Sarah Bracknell. And obviously he goes into a coma and she gets on for life, so they're no longer boy and girlfriend. Tom Skerritt makes an appearance. He plays Sheriff George Bannerman. What a great, strong name that is. And Herbert Lom. Now, Herbert Lom, he gets around. He's got a bit of age on him here.
He was in the Phantom of the Opera, and he was in the Pink Panther.
Wait a minute. The Phantom of the Opera, the Hammer version.
Yes.
Yeah, back in 1960s, wasn't it?
And he was in the Pink Panther before Steve Martin did it.
The original Pink Panther movies of Peter Sellers, he played his boss and then his enemy. So, anyway, irrespective, I'll just run through a couple of other people. Anthony Zerbe plays a role in there. Martin Sheen plays a really weird guy going for election as a senator with aspirations of going to
Grandeur.
the White House. He was a megalomaniac who gets his in the end, but he won't say anything at the moment.
Yeah, he's a psycho.
There's a guy called Nicholas Campbell who was playing an interesting role. He was a deputy who was actually killing people. Interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll move right along to the story. So it begins with Johnny Smith. He's a teacher of English literature, stuff like that.
Yep.
And him and his girlfriend, they go on a date in the amusement park. I think somehow, in my mind, that he has always had this psychic ability, but it's been, has never been taken.
You're sort of right. I think we all have it. I think it needs a trauma of some description to bring it out in us. And he had a trauma. He was in a major car accident, went into a coma for 5 years.
Yeah, because when he was on the he was on the roller coaster with his girlfriend. There was a bit of a moment there that made you think, something is up there.
Well, in the book, there's some mention of a brain tumour. That wasn't mentioned in the movie. So I think they might have actually had it in the script, sort of, then they took a few bits out of it as they went along, and so, hey, I've got a sore head, but it's mainly just a headache, but it was actually brain tumour, I think, in the book, or intended to be in the movie or something.
Yeah.
So
Later that evening, he escorts his girlfriend back to her place. She wants him to stay the night. He says no, school night, yada yada.
And he wasn't feeling well.
And so he goes on his merry way. And as he's driving, it's raining, pouring. And just then, a truck driver's...
a big tanker.
Yeah, a tanker full of milk begins to break off from a truck and starts hurtling towards...
It didn't break off. The guy who was driving it fell asleep, was all over the road, and then he jackknifed it, and then the thing came off the front of the truck.
Yeah. So it jacked off, and it starts moving down the hill.
Flying down the road.
And it crashed right into
Johnny's car.
And he's left to presume the worst. Well, not really presume the worst. Then later on, he's at the hospital. His girlfriend comes to the hospital and assumes that now that he's in a coma, and she doesn't know how long it will be for.
And then jumps forward by 5 years.
Yeah.
And he wakes up.
Yeah, his mum and dad are there, and they're all happy, and they tell him, guess what, you've been in a coma for 5 years.
It's a miracle, you woke up. Yeah,
but sadly enough, the one things that have changed is he does no longer have a job.
He does have a girlfriend.
Yeah, his girlfriend has moved on to greener pastures.
His car's pretty well stuffed it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, hit the tank up, yeah.
Yeah, so...
His dog died. No, sorry.
Don't go there.
No, canary?
Yeah, so the only person he has to talk to is his psychiatrist guy, Dr. Sam. Well, I'm not going to say his last name's too hard.
Weezak.
Yeah, see what I mean?
Yeah, Weezak.
It sounds like a very big mouthful. I'm going to just call him Dr. Sam, okay?
Yeah.
So Sam has been very nice to him, and there was even one incident while Johnny is asleep, and a nurse was coming in to do some routine stuff in his room.
Bed bath?
Yeah.
Yummy.
And as he then wakes up and grips her hand, and all of a sudden he could see her full, see the future through.
And see the present sort of too, because he could see that her daughter was at home, young daughter, about 6, 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
And the house is burning.
Yeah.
And he tells your daughter's in trouble. The house is burning. You got to save her. And she went to the home, and the house was on fire, and the fire brigade was there, and they saved the daughter.
Yeah. Quite wonderful. This is not the first time this happened. As it turns out, he even touched Dr. Sam's hand, and he reveals that his mom, that's he assumed was long dead, is actually alive, because she was alive. She was
back in the olden days during the Second World War. Sam was, I believe, appears to be taken away to be in an internment camp in Europe. So he must have been Jewish. Mm-hmm. He got separated from his mother, and he presumed
the worst.
His mother and father were both dead, and just didn't worry about them for all his life. And he said, no, your mother's alive and well, and she's living here in America somewhere.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
he gives him the details of where he then finally phones her, and
And he couldn't talk to her.
yeah, but he knew probably instinctively knew that it was definitely his mother's voice or sounds like it.
Mummy dear, after
Yes,
all
but-
these years, what would you say? Gee, it's been a long time. We better catch up. What would
Yeah.
you say?
He then meets up with his long deceased girlfriend who's now married to another guy. I'm trying to say they're no
He's-
longer together, but she comes to visit him.
His ex-girlfriend would be
His
nice.
ex-girlfriend comes visiting, and she
Extreme.
hears about all the news that he's got some kind of weird power, yada yada, and that she also misses him, I guess, too.
She never fell out of love with him. It's just that she thought he was never going to wake up from his coma.
Yeah, comas are a strange thing, people. They sometimes can go on forever,
Years
or
and years and
or
years.
sometimes a person like Johnny will wake up.
Let's turn the machine off. No, let's wait for another 6 months or another year or yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that people like the families make turn off the
There
machine.
was a movie called Patrick, a bit like that. He was in a coma for quite a few years. That Steven Seagal movie, Hard to Kill.
I heard
I
that
think
one.
he was in a coma for so many years he woke up. Yeah, so
Yes.
it shows up in movies occasionally.
Yes, they're assuming that this does happen, and it does could take so many years to wake up again and get reacquainted with real life again.
Exactly.
Anyway, moving on. So
Moving right along. Yes.
so the media gets wind of his
That's not that sort of wind.
of
Okay,
his
sorry.
powers,
Okay.
and one of the reporters asked him, "Can you predict the outcome of the next election?"
And he said, it doesn't work that way. He said, I need to touch somebody.
And not to mention, he's been asleep. What election he's thinking?
What election and who? He didn't even know who the people were who were running.
Yeah, I mean, it
could be a
takes.
good thing.
Yeah, he then the smart reporter approaches him to see his future, and he gets a little bit more information than he anticipated.
Yeah, he starts talking about his dead sister, was it?
Yeah, that she's not dead; she's alive.
Yeah, that sort of stuff, and he's shocking the hell out of him, and he didn't get what he wanted, did he?
No, got too much to bargain for.
Yeah, he's trying to make him look like a fool and realise he's not a fool.
Yeah. Soon
Yeah,
enough, he goes back to Johnny goes back to living with his mum and dad. Well, actually, before he could do that,
His mum passed away.
Yeah, his mother passed away.
Yeah.
And so he moves back to his dad, and things are good. And soon enough, he gets a visit from the local sheriff, I think.
Yeah.
Seeing as they're living in, what's it called? Rock Castle?
Castle, something or other.
Yeah, Castle Rock.
Castle Rock. That shows up, I think, in a couple of these books.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's sort of made up, and it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
anyway, so he comes around, tells him about a certain case he's working on that's dealing with local girls are going missing.
And, well, been killed.
Killed and missing.
Well, not missing. They find the bodies. They're dead.
Okay, okay, they're dead, obviously.
Someone's killing them brutally.
Yeah. And at first, dear old Johnny doesn't want anything to do with this sort of thing.
He doesn't really.
Because
doesn't want to be part of the sideshow.
yeah,
No.
once he starts, it may continue that way. But then he soon enough meets his ex-girlfriend again.
And she comes around with a little child. What's his name? David? No.
Danny.
Danny, yeah. And then she puts Danny down for sleep. And then you could say
They had a you-know-whaty.
they had a bit of rumpty-bumpty on the carpet or in bed or on the couch or somewhere. Well, make up for lost time. And she said, this is once only.
Yeah, because she
Yeah.
missed him and all that stuff.
She's married now, got a kid, so, you know.
Yeah.
But,
It was implied in the book, too, that they did it, too. So that's a bit of a... I'm relieved they kept that part to the story in there.
yeah.
So, anyway, moving
Yeah.
on.
And it was clean. We didn't have a sex scene in front of the cameras. We didn't even see a dove flying anywhere or a train going into a tunnel or
Or a man shooting out of a cannon.
yeah, that sort of stuff. Yeah, none of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. He then changes his mind and tells the sheriff he wants to assist them in their case, which he does, and they find the killer.
Yeah.
It
happened
turned out to be the
deputy.
local deputy
Yeah.
who was killing women. And even he knew the last one,
Well,
obviously.
everyone needs a hobby, don't they? Yes.
And even his mother knew of his horrible
Yeah,
hobby.
it's just caring for him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Eventually,
Mother's love, isn't it so sweet?
a couple of months later, Johnny Smith decides to move elsewhere.
A different town, so people wouldn't know who he was.
But unfortunately, Dr. Smith finds out where he is. I mean, not Dr. Smith. Dr. Sam finds him.
Yeah, Dr. Sam finds him.
And tells him that why can't you come back to the clinic and we'll provide you some better medication to get better.
And try to treat him, so he can get through his strange dilemma.
Yeah, and dear old Johnny shows him in a cupboard thousands of letters from unknown people.
Who want assistance in problems they've got, finding dogs,
Finding children, finding loved ones. Who knows? This goes on and on, guys.
Yeah, it goes on and on and on.
And he thinks, I think that they probably got wind of him helping the policeman,
Yeah.
and think he should help other people.
Yeah,
But this is going to go on forever and ever.
Can't help everybody.
Yes, so eventually, he's kind of busy tutoring kiddies at his house. And don't worry, he's not a pedophile or anything like that. He's just
He's a tutor.
Yes, he continues doing this, and he also meets a wealthy man who wants him to tutor his son, who's a very shy son.
Yeah, he says he comes there and says, "My son is very bright, but he's very shy and doesn't. Yeah, something's wrong."
Yeah.
And the problem is, we find later on, the problem's the dad. The dad touch of reality. Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, the kid gets along with Johnny for a bit, and we then find out that from his dad that he also had a guest, an upcoming senator who's running for senator, but he's a very powerful power monger idiot.
He's a megalomaniac. He's going to be a real problem. And actually, this guy says he's not really my friend. He says, I mean, if he gets elected, it's good to have him there as a friend, sort of, or someone you know. And if he doesn't get in, you keep yourself distanced far enough away from him so the shit don't stick.
Yeah,
how's that grab you?
Yeah, they even watched a little bit of that guy's political message, which sounds a little bit too much like someone we know, Mike and I know. But I won't go into details because I don't dabble in politics.
Yeah, yes. No, but I think he's just a caricature of many politicians.
Many corrupt ones.
Yeah, well, not necessarily corrupt ones, just ones who are very, very gung-ho. Anyway, not just American ones. Yeah, look at Adolf Hitler. He was a very charismatic man.
Yeah.
Who started World War II. You know.
During a political rally of sorts, dear old Johnny has the mishap of shaking his hand, and we find out years from now that dear old Senator What's-He-Face is going to
become president.
And then he's going to detonate some bombs.
Now he's going to start World War III by launching missiles.
Yes. Launching missiles, and these are the big dangerous ones that deal with probably wiping out half the world.
And it would have started World War III, it would have been a nuclear war, and it was implied that we wouldn't be around anymore.
Yeah, meaning this would be like the beginning of Armageddon. I think it's
Armageddon out of here.
Because it was mentioned in the book that he was probably the one who's going to start Armageddon.
Yeah. And actually, Armageddon, in the Bible, there's a place called Megiddo. Mm-hmm. And that was supposed to be where the end of the world the battle for the end of the world was going to be, good and evil and stuff. And that's where the Armageddon word comes from.
Yeah, and once Dear John knows about this, he then consults his doctor and asks him if he was given the chance of killing Hitler, would he do it?
Knowing what he knows now, would he have killed him before he did it?
Yeah.
Ah.
And he gave, for a minute, he then even explained earlier that he saved a boy's life, and this alters future events.
So if that's the case, the doctor said, I would have killed the son of a bitch, or something like that, because obviously he was for an internment camp, his parents were killed. all because of World War II.
Yeah, see, aside from that, he also mentions once he changed the future with the boy, it kind of created a dead zone in his mind of sorts.
No, it's the other way around. There's a dead zone in his brain, and he attributes that to a part that he can't see because it's not fixed. So that dead zone would say, this is where you have a chance to change the future.
Yes.
In the book, it wasn't that way.
True.
It was just a part he couldn't see or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, he goes to the next political rally. He also writes before he gets over there. He writes a letter to his Sarah to explain what he's going to do. Even though it's not detailed letter, it sounds more like a suicide note when I think about it.
What? No, we never saw it. It was supposed to be a letter explaining to her what he was doing and why he was doing it.
Or not suicide note, more like he's going to do something. He's going to.
I think but a letter of explanation why he was doing it. Okay, move on from the letter.
Yeah.
Okay?
So he then arrives at the political rally really early. He breaks down the back entrance and heads in there, makes a good position.
Yeah, he gets in there early in the morning or late at night, and he breaks in and he hides.
Later that next morning, he's the old Stillson. What's his name? Yeah, Stillson arrives. He's all greeted by smiles and political speeches, and he starts and he's kissing babies, yada yada.
Yeah, shaking hands, kissing babies, kissing mothers, anyone you can find. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So he kiss. As he stands at the podium,
Yes.
Yes. Dear old Johnny takes his position and
he
starts.
stands up, aims his rifle, and
bam,
misses.
Yeah, and then you know what Stillson does? He picks up Sarah's baby and uses him as a human shield.
Yeah, and a photographer for the local journalist, paper,
freelance, whatever.
Freelancer, whatever, took a photo of him.
Snapped a few.
Yeah, holding the baby up as his shield.
Yeah.
Needless to say, it went pretty much global.
Yeah.
And this guy is a wanker and not to be trusted. And
yeah. While he's setting, Stillson's assistant begins shooting at dear old Johnny, and of
takes
course,
him out.
Yeah. Eventually, Johnny stumbles off the balcony and hits the floor, and then Stillson approaches him and saying, "Who are you working for? Who are you working for?" All that stuff, shaking him, and dear old Johnny reaches up his hand and sees that his future is changed.
Stillson's future is totally changed. He can see him sitting there in some sort of squalid little room. With a
article.
With a pistol in his hand.
Yeah, and the article that says, what's
newspaper.
It says something really bad about how he just used a baby.
Yeah, I think it was a Times magazine or something or other. Yeah, very popular
with the
magazine.
photo of the of him holding the baby up, shielding himself.
So he probably shoots himself.
Yeah.
Yay!
And he's
I wish more politicians would do that.
Don't go there.
Well, all the bad ones anyway. Yeah.
Anyway, soon enough, Sarah approaches him and asks him why, but he doesn't answer her question. He just says he loves her, and she says, "I love you," and then he dies in her arms. And so he dies in her arms, and that's the end of the movie.
And the sun goes down. Actually, one thing about it, and now you finish telling the story, this was done in a country town, or whatever, Canada was it?
Yeah.
And it was snowing. It must have been winter time or something rather, and it was bleak, and it felt bleak in the movie, and it was bleak, and it was really, really cold, and it gave a very cold feeling to the movie.
Yeah, and
I think they added to it.
Yeah, another interesting thing, they built a gazebo for the scene where they killed the girl in the for that Kirim case.
Yeah.
That's actually still there.
Well, they donated it to the town.
Yeah, they donated to the town, so it's still there as I speak.
How do you know? Have you been there?
No, but I heard about it.
Oh, you heard about it. Me too. Yeah. But interesting movie.
An interesting thing is that Johnny's being Stephen King was also an English teacher before he went on to become a writer. So he has a
Funny though,
similarity
hey.
in common with dear old Johnny here.
And how many times is there a journalist in a Stephen King's book or a writer or something?
Also, this movie and Stephen King's novel are both loosely based upon the life of a famous psychic, Peter. What's his name?
Herkos, I think.
Yes, Peter Hokos.
Herkos. Yeah.
Who Hoklos claims to have acquired his alleged powers after falling off a ladder and developing head injury.
I've heard that in different stories of other people getting things happening. Yeah,
Yeah, I
interesting.
remember one person. He got struck by lightning through a window, and that caused him to start seeing things and feeling things.
I was going to say, you would have felt the lightning.
Well, I just meant he went to a coma or unconscious, and then
Yeah.
he woke up later on with this new ability
Yeah,
to see the future and stuff like that.
interesting. Actually, speaking about that sort of stuff, we did a movie review recently about 10% of the brain. What was it? My guy got increased brain power. What was it?
I think.
I can't remember now. But anyway, there used to be a theory that we only use 10% of our brain. That some doctor or scientist said years ago. That's not totally true.
Oh yeah, now I remember Lucy.
Yeah. And the guy just, she became more and more active in her brain, and everything changed. But I won't go into what the story's about, but yeah. But when we don't use 10%, but we don't know what the other 90% is doing, it is doing something.
But
some of it might be latent. So we might have things like ESP, second sight, other good groovy things happening, which have been turned off or waiting to be woken up. Yeah.
Yeah, another interesting thing is Martin Sheen was in another Stephen King movie called The Fire Starter.
Very
That was with
good.
Drew Barrymore when
Drew
she was no
Barrymore,
more
yeah.
than say 7 or 8
Yes,
years
she's a
of
child.
age.
Probably a cute little girl.
And another interesting thing about this is that they in 2002 they also made a TV series called The Dark Zone too, about the same thing.
Well, yeah, same thing, but graded out for a TV series.
Yeah, quite interesting that one.
I can't talk about special effects and stuff because there isn't any.
No, it dabbled with more
It's just
storyline
a
more.
good damn sci-fi drama thriller movie, which is I suppose what Stephen King aims for. He doesn't normally always do horror. He wants to make an interesting story, and this is an interesting story.
I do enjoy Christopher Walken. Performance, and I do like him in his other roles like Batman Returns and let me see The Prophecy.
I saw him in The Deer Hunter with De Niro many years ago.
Yeah, so he's a great actor. I love him when he plays a bad guy, maybe sometimes.
Well, I haven't seen him ever play a straight normal good guy in an ordinary movie. This is almost like a good guy, but this guy he's obviously damaged goods in this. But I never seen him play a straight good guy. There's always baggage or something rather, or he plays a good guy who's not totally good or a bad guy who's not totally bad.
Yeah,
That sort of
I
thing.
certainly like the fact he has an unusual look about him. He's not I don't think he's really cute.
He's not a Ken or a Barbie type, but
I do like his way of portraying the roles.
He's a good-looking man, but he's not plastic. Yeah, he doesn't come out of a mold. Yeah.
I mean, I like actors with the unusual look about them. Not a model, not a good-looking guy. Just someone who's
their own personal look.
A look that you cannot overlook.
Yeah, well, there's people like can you look at Bela Lugosi? No matter what movie he was in, he always looked the same. You pick him, whether he's Dracula or a later movie. Sebastian Cabot was always a portly gentleman with a beard.
Or Vincent Price. With his
exactly
raised
right.
eyebrow.
Yeah. You can never miss them. Yeah. So and Christopher's the same. Yeah, no matter what he is, whatever he's dressed in, when he's Sleepy Hollow as a demon, he still looked like Christopher Walken.
Yeah, it's just that unusual look. You cannot
So some
walk
of
away
those
from.
some of those features, I wouldn't say unusual, but you got distinctive features. Yeah.
Yeah, something to love about
Anyway,
that.
let's get away from Christopher Walken's features.
I'm
okay?
sorry. It's just. I mean, I'm not saying anything nasty about
No,
any
he's
of
a
the other
good-looking-
actors in this.
He's a good-looking
I
man.
mean,
He suits the role.
Sarah's just ordinary looking, but I don't
She's a
see.
very pretty lady. I liked her.
But I guess that her character and the girl from Rocky, who plays Rocky's girlfriend.
What's that? Was it Talissa? No, Talissa something?
Yeah, I'm not sure her name,
whatever.
but I know for a fact. I
Yeah.
guess it wouldn't hurt to have someone that looks ordinary to
Well,
play
no,
the
not
role.
ordinary. They're just a good-looking person without looking like they came out of a beauty salon.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, this
You
is
don't need
supposed to
that
be
all, you don't need it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the real world. We do have people who look
Now,
more modern,
when
more
they're,
normal.
when they're doing the production side of this and trying to put scripts together, the original book was too long and padded, and they had to actually bring it in
Yeah.
a lot. They had rein in stuff, they leave bits out, and start trying to make a good script out of it.
Yeah.
And the original guy who was the screenwriter, he wrote the original script, Jeffrey Boehm, and they didn't like the original script. They went from place to place to place, different screenwriter
Yeah.
stuff, and they came back to him.
Yeah, actually, I read somewhere that they changed. You know, the little boy that's predicted to be killed in the ice.
Yeah.
It was actually originally going to be a prom that got a prom fire.
Oh,
But
profile.
I think that
No, the ice is better. Ice works better.
and I think that
Yeah.
the filmmakers thought that's too similar to Carrie. We don't want to have the same thing over and over in
Exactly.
this movie.
Yeah.
It's too
Something
similar.
different. So this would.
I think that in the beginning of the story, Johnny Smith, when he was a little kid, he nearly came close to drowning in ice.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what they borrowed for this production.
And here's something. Okay. I've got to get the word right though. When the script was being done, the writer saw this as a 3-part story. I used the word triptych. I think it would.
I heard that.
And
a triptych is like
three different phases.
Yeah.
The first phase was before, when he had his relationship with his girlfriend, had his accident, and he woke up in the coma from the coma, and then the second part started.
I always
then- yeah,
call
that's
it.
what I am.
I call it more like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
Well, like there's 3 acts, yeah. But you go called triptych, whatever. Yeah.
Like the way people would explain in a play.
Yeah, and they brought in the part about chasing the killer and helping the police. That was another part of the story, that sort of stuff. So there's 3 different parts of the story in one story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So no, I often talk to Sarah about this. A lot of the better movies, well, a lot of them, have come from a story in a book, or a book's been written and it's been adapted, or someone's taken the time to write the storyline out prior to writing a script. They didn't go straight to script writing. And that's what it is. If you've got someone who's a good storyteller, and they put it down in such a way that it stirs someone's imagination, then the screenwriter can take it that's one step further and bring it to life in a script. So yeah, in this case, Stephen King's a brilliant writer.
Yeah, well, no one can ever come close to what he's, how far he's come.
Well, he's written buckloads of books. Yeah, and
what
short
did the
stories.
reviewers say about this movie? And apart from that one we discussed just a while ago.
No, most of the reviewers liked it.
That's good.
It's just that one person made a comment about it being a horror movie. It wasn't much of a horror movie. It wasn't a bloody horror movie.
Supposed to be. Oh, God, great.
But no, most of the time they said it was good movies, like the acting or whatever, storyline. But this last one, let's go straight to the last one. Okay. I won't mention the person's name, but first referred to the film as a well-acted drama, more eerie than terrifying, more rooted in the occult than in sheer horror.
Good grief.
It wasn't a bloody horror movie,
And it was not a cult movie. Good grief, people. I'm
What?
sorry, guys. I just hate it when these people
A
get
cult.
the wrong wording
cult.
for a movie.
Not cult, a cult.
Okay, sorry.
That's supernatural, yeah.
I know, but this is
Yeah, It wasn't a horror movie anyway. It was a suspense thriller, sci-fi suspense thriller thing. How the hell can they come along there and say a cult?
I just don't think these
It wasn't even a cult.
Yeah, there's no cult involved.
Wasn't anything
There's
supernatural.
no witches. There's no goblins. There's no.
There's no magic. There wasn't any demons running around. So
This is like
I just wonder whether this person actually watched the movie.
I just wonder this person knows how to write.
Anyway,
I just don't think these people know how to write. They don't even bother to read what they write, mostly.
but anyway,
I mean,
I'll just have a quick brush over where they did some of the filming because otherwise Sarah will just talk about
I'm
things.
sorry, guys. I just get so sick of people who
See
keep
what I
on
mean?
getting the wrong impression about Stephen King's movies.
Yeah, okay, right,
I'm
finished?
sorry. It's how I feel.
Right. Filming. Okay, shooting started in early January and took place in the greater Toronto area.
Wow.
Now, I thought January would be almost the middle of the winter. That's why it was all snowy, and it would have been bloody cold up there.
Ouch.
And the regional area of Niagara, so Niagara Falls, that area.
I've seen that.
And that's up there at the border area, I think. I don't know the area too much. And Cronenberg's native Ontario, which is in Canada. They had a tunnel in there. That was at Niagara Falls. Cool. Gazebo was built and donated to Niagara on the Lake. So it was all in that general area, Niagara Falls area.
We'd love to check out the gazebo one day.
And there was a theme park they went to in the beginning for the roller coaster ride. And it was called Canada's Wonderland Theme Park, which is 30 kilometres north of Toronto's city limits. Be sure to take the kiddies. No.
I don't know if
there's
it's
not
still
a plug. No.
I don't know if it's still around.
No, but maybe, you know. So, who
There's
knows?
a lot of abandoned amusement theme parks out there that
I saw a series about that of abandoned places or something or other.
Yeah,
I can't remember. A lot of places had cities where they've had nuclear fallout in the areas over in Chernobyl and stuff.
Yeah, we watched the one with theme parks that didn't go so well because of either finances or budget problems.
And other places where they had a resort by a lake, and then the lake dried up, and there was nothing there, so they just got the old buildings falling into decay, and you got a couple of hermits living there and stuff.
And
so
I know this doesn't have anything to do with this. But I remember a while back when me and Mike and his mum, we went to the Sunshine Coast, and we went to an old maze sort of amusement park, I think. I'm not sure.
Maze.
Yeah. And it used to be very popular back in the 90s when I was little.
Not now.
But it's not now. It's like just ordinary.
People want different things now, but this had a really good maze. It was very complicated to get out of.
Yeah, it got me
lost. Big hedges and stuff. It was great. But we did play mini golf before. That really made it really good. I won.
I read the secret of how you can get out of a maze, but I don't know if it's true or not.
What's the secret?
Use your left hand, and it'll help you guide you throughout the maze.
I got a better idea. Come on, say it. What, Dad?
What?
Brush cutter. Start up and just walk in a straight line. You'll find the outside.
Yeah, well, it's a simple trick where you just hold your hand up and you just brush against the leaves, and they kind of hopefully lead you to.
Well, you're sort of not quite right. Someone told years ago, if you keep bearing to the left or the right or something rather, and keep doing that and just following it around, you'll finally get to the outside or the inside or whatever. Yeah, something like because you just keep following around. Okay, that's dead end. Just follow the wall around instead of going from place to place to place. That way you stay on a trajectory which is actually following the line of the wall in and out of the maze areas, and keep going around and around, and it'll gradually lead to where you got to go to. Because people get lost in maze because they don't think it out properly. That's the only reason. It's like a mirror maze. You get too many reflections. Instead of looking at the mirror, look at the floor. look at the floor more and say, where are you standing? Okay, that's glass over there. I can see there's no reflection in that bit over there. Look at your face. You get a reflection off the glass. You get it off the mirror.
Moving right along. So this
Sorry,
was,
you
I
mentioned the maze, not
sorry.
me. Yeah.
So this movie, I do give it a 2 thumbs up for.
Oh, look, I think it's a good movie. Look, it's...
I mean, I didn't
How
hear
long was the movie? I can't remember.
about an hour and 40 something minutes.
Yeah, so a little over between an hour and a half to 2 hours. It was a good length for a movie. It told the story. It did meander along a little bit, but it can't. It's not an action movie.
It could, if they added the other scenes, it would go. It would have gone too long.
You're missing one saying. There was slow pieces in there to help develop the storyline.
Yeah.
You can't just have, let's run around in ever decreasing circles. And no, it's not a slasher movie or an action movie. So I had to tell the story about him going through his trials. Well, he's bit of his girlfriend, then his trial, getting over his accident, and then dealing with the problem of the.
It does explain why
his mental telepathy thing. Yeah.
When Stephen King did Stephen King's It, the movie, and in the miniseries, that he had to cut into two separate movies.
That's right.
In both movies, that the first one was about their childhood, and the second one was about the adults having to fight the It creature.
Episode 2.
I gotta admit though, I do think the miniseries is a lot more better for reasons.
Yeah.
A lot of people may have given different opinions
Well,
about
actually,
the new one.
That's a good way to interpret it too. He did The Shining, right? He wrote Shining. They did a movie with Jack Nicholson, which was a long movie, and then they did a TV miniseries. Was it 2-part or 3-parter?
I think I'm not sure. Maybe 2 or 3-part.
And that one told, I wouldn't say a better story, but it filled in some other things.
Yeah.
And the Jack Nicholson story, I think, was more about the man, and I think the TV miniseries was more about the house or the building. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look at them both.
Yeah. I do hope that.
But yeah, you can make it. You can bring it in and get rid of all superfluous stuff.
I do wish that they could have. I do sometimes wish they could have used the miniseries to make the sequel.
Yeah, sometimes miniseries don't work out real good. I mean, you're going to milk it and milk it and milk it until it's dead.
I just meant that the miniseries was a lot more of a better version of Shining.
Yeah.
And it would have been great for a continuation for the Doctor Sleep.
Yeah, but I'm going to say, but how much do you put in when you make a TV miniseries? You take a movie which might be 2 hours long and then do a miniseries which might be 4 or 5 hours long. How much padding do you put in there?
I just meant that I wasn't too happy with when they did the that Doctor Sleep with Hugh McGregor, who's actually who's an English actor, obviously. I do think that was not the best choice for.
No, it worked. He's a good actor, but he makes good Jedi.
Well, it's not important. It's just supposed to be.
And he was a Moulin Rouge. He was very popular for a while.
Yes, but he was playing a European actor. He's English, and I mean Irish.
That's European enough.
Yeah, but Danny in The Shining is American, not English. Not
I have a question for you. All right, have a think about this one.
Yeah.
No. Every time they make a movie, a religious movie with Jesus in it, most times he's got an American accent.
Oh, brother.
Now he's Hebrew. Okay. Now, he spoke Aramaic. What's the difference?
I don't know.
He's an actor, right?
But
hey.
But when it comes to the original book, like from The Shining or Stephen King stuff, if he says these guys are from American, then you should cast an American actor. I'm not being racist or anything. It's just that if you cast the European actor, people won't believe the story.
Well, we did have a chat about this yesterday, wasn't it? About Charlie Chan movies,
Yeah.
The old Charlie Chan movies back in the 40s, 50s, whatever. Warner Oland and some of the other guys played the role. They never once had an Oriental play Charlie Chan. There was a series called about Mr. Wong. Mr. Wong, from memory, was played by Boris Karloff. There was one movie with a Mr. Wong in it. I think that was played by Key Luke or somebody, I can't remember. And Mr. Moto was played by Peter Lorre, who's a Frenchman. Now,
Well, anyway, I just mean that.
it's the magic of Hollywood.
Yeah, but
Okay?
Ewan McGregor is so well known. Everyone knows him. And it's not. I mean, I just wouldn't mind if when he did Doctor Sleep that he cast an unknown actor.
Well,
Someone
he
who
might
d-
have been unknown when he did it.
Someone that's a person's face. I mean, you won't know his face, but you know for a fact it's definitely Danny all grown up.
Yeah. Anyway, irrespective. Oh, it's stuck in again.
I mean, I still think that
Can't stop saying it.
I still think that they may have made too many changes to the movie
You have
from
to
the book.
understand. They take a book and they base this film script, the screenplay, if you will. It is based on the book.
And not to mention, they did the same thing
say
too. But then again, I heard from Stephen King, he was too.
How is he? You said you've heard from him.
No, I read somewhere that he wasn't too thrilled about some of the adaptations of
Some of his books.
some of his books.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I guess as I said before, he wanted Bill Murray to play in this role but who knows? Maybe the actor would have been wrong for this one.
The point is, he wasn't the screenwriter, so the screenwriter had someone in mind when he actually wrote the screenplay.
Yeah, I know, but in the book, I imagine, dear old Stephen King, he probably visualized his character in depth, like down to his bald spot on his head.
And the pimple on his nose.
And he just even said that when he made
Shawshank Redemption. Yeah,
he wanted Red to be an Irish redhead.
Yeah, and he ended up being
he turned out
Morgan
to be,
Freeman.
Yeah.
Well, how far can you get away from
I don't think that's
an
a big
Irishman?
problem because I thought
Morgan Freeman's a great
it
actor.
fits the name and fit his character
Yeah.
even more.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway, sorry guys. I mean, anyway, should we rate this movie now?
yes, I'm going to give it. There's a difference in Stephen King one. Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hard.
Because there's no CGI. Didn't need it and other things. Okay, it's told a good story. Good acting, and I think the actors they chose worked. The politician guy got his just desserts. So it's sort of like the guy, that accountant or solicitor or lawyer, or whatever, in Jurassic Park and being eaten by the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, you want to see the nasty guy get what's coming to him. He got what's coming to him. Yeah, so yeah, I enjoyed it. I got 9.5, I think. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 too.
Yeah, 9 out of 10. Okay, that's fine. That's still good. That's good. It's yeah.
And I do think that I do like the fact how he makes fictional towns up, like he did with Derry for
Derry, yeah.
Is Derry a real
Derry? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know every town and city and everything in America.
Derry from Stephen King's It, obviously. And
I mean, he could have made Castle Rock may not exist.
No, it probably doesn't.
But I think the name has popped up in other books.
Yeah, it has.
Yes, that's a good name.
I mean, I often think sometimes the books connect with one another. Sometimes it's more of just a bit of product placement in the background,
like a can of Pepsi or Coke or something.
Like let me see, what was it? There was even in the book, I think, where it says, "It has returned."
Aha.
In Derry, it was I guess in the later book after Stephen King's It came out.
It's a nicer day, is it?
Anyway, that's pretty much about it for us tonight. I mean, I would like to say more, but I'll probably end up yelling at the reviewers again.
No, the problem would be there's nothing much to talk about. I mean, there's no special effects, there's no costuming. There's just only so far you can go without boring people. And I think we've exhausted it.
Yeah, I just meant that I do get annoyed that so many people out there don't even know Stephen King. They just continue thinking he does just only horror.
No, look.
They don't think about anything else.
One critic mentioned that. More occult than horror, but it wasn't even a cult. And I just wondering whether the person actually took time to actually watch the movie properly.
Yeah.
Or I don't like these sort of movies, so I sort of read a magazine, looked up occasionally, I didn't care. And that's why I didn't mention the person's name.
Yeah.
Yeah, because honestly, it wasn't a cult. The guy had brain damage, which opened up something in his head. Telepathy, telekinesis, something or other, ESP, whatever, something like that, and turned it on. That's all it was. That's not a cult.
No, it's hardly a cult.
It's not supernatural. It's
I
not
swear
a horror.
sometimes these people don't know what they're writing.
I know. Yeah, they
They're wrong. They put the wrong word in, and it gives the impression to the reviewer the wrong information.
It's just changing the tact of the conversation altogether. I heard somewhere on an interview about Alice Cooper, some female said he's a good pop singer. He has done a pop song or two, but he does shock rock. He's not a pop singer.
Yeah,
Never has been a pop singer.
Didn't you tell me one time a friend of yours, you were talking about music, and then when you mentioned Alice Cooper, he says, "Oh, I think she was wonderful."
No. That was a different story altogether.
I know. I was just telling.
It wasn't a friend of mine. No, okay. So, just before we go, seeing Sarah mention it. A long time ago, when I was a young man, back in the 70s, my brother was working for an investment merchant bank or something. I can't remember now. And one of the accountants was there, who was a bit older than him, one of the senior guys, had his niece or someone staying for a couple of weeks over Christmas or something, or sometime rather, and he wanted to get a couple of records that are popular at that time, that she got something to listen to when she's there. So records, back in the old days, vinyl, and so my brother gave him a list of records. And so he went out and bought some albums, and he took them home, and the girl was talking to this guy, his niece or whatever, and said, "Hey, what do you think about Alice Cooper?" And he said, "Oh, I think Alice Cooper's really good. She's great." He had no idea who the hell Alice Cooper was. He was trying to bluff his way through it. Instead of saying, "I don't know who Alice Cooper is," it makes you think about some of these people who do the reviews. Do you really know what you're talking about? Or you're just throwing something together for the newspaper so you get paid? No. Do a real review, not a half-cast one. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
We want a real one.
That's an interesting story, guys. If you ever think about ever writing a review, think of Mike's story here.
Well, yeah, and actually, journalists aren't that good sometimes. Hey, here is one thing. I go into Wikipedia an awful lot, reading stuff, because I like Wikipedia. And I was looking up a song called Mammy Blue. Now, some of you young guys probably don't know it. The older people like myself would know it. It was done by several people, Roger Whittaker included. But the original one that was done was by a French guy called Joel Dade. Dayde, I think it was. And anyway, in Wikipedia, whoever put the information online said, it was Joe Cocker. Joe Cocker never sang that song. He didn't even probably think about singing that song, and someone who put the Wikipedia information together had the wrong damn name.
Yeah, that's another thing I should mention to you, Mike. You should be aware that when I was studying at TAFE, my teacher told me never to use Wikipedia for research, because he says that a lot of people go access on Wikipedia and change the details.
Well, they can change it. You don't just use Wikipedia by itself when you're doing. You look at Wikipedia, and you can look at other sites and cross-reference stuff. You don't just take any site. Yeah, no, but you can get information from it. But as long as it's reinforcing something else on another site, yeah. I mean, if someone on Wikipedia said, "Hey, the world's flat," and you didn't read anywhere else, you might believe the world is flat.
Yeah, so that's about it for us tonight. So I hope you learned a lot from this movie, and we'll watch it.
It's a good movie. It's a good watch. It's not an action movie. It's more of a drama, thriller, suspense thriller sort of thing. So it's a bit slower pace, but it's worth the wait it's worth the watch. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, so...
And you might identify with the politician in it.
I'm not.
Or not.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, we better let you guys go to bed now.
Yeah, so this is... so I'll see you guys next time on our next podcast. So,
me too.
So this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
Saying we'll see you guys for this next one.
Yeah, guys, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.